back, guys. Another quick video here. So let's talk about every rental property or landlord's favorite topic: how to screen tenants properly. So look, everybody has their own opinion, their own method of the way to do this. We could get into the logistics of what softwares to use, how do you run background checks, things like that. But let me give you a couple of quick tips and quick rules of thumb that I try to follow with my rental properties. So the big thing for me is I'm looking at violent felonies. If somebody is 35 years old and they got a DUI when they were 19, and I'm not as concerned about that. Some people are concerned about that. I'm not as concerned about that. One thing I'm definitely looking for is, do they have any skipped leases? Did they back out of any leases? Because that's important. As a landlord, that is what is important. Are these people going to pay rent, and are they going to pay rent on time, and they're going to keep my house in order, right? Are they going to take care of it? So I'm looking for big violent felonies or drug-related felonies. I'm looking for skipped leases. Credit doesn't bother me as much if they've got credit card things and stuff like that in the past that they've missed payments on. It doesn't bother me as much as long as there's no skipped leases, because to me, really, if they're not going to pay their credit card bill but they're going to pay their rent, from a personal finance perspective, that's a terrible idea, but at the same time, I'm glad that they're paying their rent. So I'm looking at all of that stuff. One of the things that's big for me is when I'm interviewing and I'm talking to a prospective tenant, I like to get them on the phone. If I can, I like to meet them in person and just get a feel for them. Does this person seem like they're going to be honest with me? Are they going to be straight up with me? Or do I feel like they're keeping something back? They're holding something back? Do I feel like they're going to treat this like a home? Are they excited to be in my house? Are they excited to want to move in? Do they really want to be there? Or is this just like, every other apartment down the street and they're just trying to get into the next place? So those kinds of things are a little bit more intangible that I'm looking for. One of the big things that I like to do, and this has kept me out of some trouble in the past, is when they're like, I want your house, I want to move in, I want to fill out the application, what's the next steps? I tell them, listen, I'm going to run credit and I'm going to run criminal, and these are the things I'm looking for. I'm looking for felonies, I'm looking for skipped leases, things like that. What do I need to be aware of? Before I run it, what do I need to look for? What's going to pop up on that? Now look, what I'm looking for in that is, if something's on there, tell me about it up front. Because I know that person's going to shoot me straight. You will be surprised that these people are like, oh, nothing, my credit's great, I don't have any problems, there's no issues, and you've got drug felonies, you've got 6 skipped leases in the last year and a half, and you're like, dude, did you think I wasn't going to find that? Like, I'm going to pull it. So obviously that person, no way I'm going to let them live in my house. Now listen, if something comes up that I typically wouldn't take, I want to hear an explanation from it. I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, and a lot of the things in my past don't have a representation of who I am as a person today, because I believe in growing and developing myself personally, professionally, etc. So I want to give people the benefit of the doubt sometimes. Now this depends on what the issue is, and it depends on their response. If they tell me about it up front, it seems plausible, and there's nothing else on their background, sometimes I'm willing to look past some things. I have a tenant right now. She had a skipped lease. When I was pulling the credit, I asked my question, my little magic question, what's going to come up that I need to be aware of? She told me about it up front. I said, what happened? She said she was in an abusive relationship and she was getting beat by her boyfriend, and she just had to get out in the middle of the night, and she did, and the lease was under her name. Sure enough, pulled it. The skipped lease was on her background. There was nothing else. She's been with the same job for 15 years. She has no problems with credit cards. She has no problem with car loans or anything like that. Excuse me. The one skipped lease was the one problem. I've had her in there now for 9 months, and I have never had an issue with her. So that's an example of, don't always look at it from a very black and white. I know some people think that, but I'm a little bit more lenient in that regard, but I want to know that somebody's being honest with me. And then that way I know too, if they call because something's broken at the house, I know they're not trying to pull something over. I know that they're an honest person. So those are kind of some of my quick tips and my rules of thumbs of how I look at it. Again, skipped leases is what I'm looking for, violent or drug-related felonies, and I always ask my magic question. I'm pulling your credit, I'm pulling your background check. These are the things I'm looking for. What is going to pop up that I need to know about right now? So if you ask that question, you go through that, more than likely you're going to find yourself getting a qualified tenant. guys, I'd love to hear what you look for in a tenant, all those landlords out there. So if you have other questions that you ask, or if there's other things that you look for, or if I'm just setting myself up for failure, obviously I'd love to know what you guys think about that. So comment, share the link below, or not the link, but comment below, and give us a little feedback on what you look for in your prospective tenants. As always, thank you guys for being a part of the group and participating in it, and we look forward to putting some more videos out for you.